cells all have 46 chromosomes. Done. These are weeks. Weirdos. These are only units that reproduce on species. And they come about so they're nothing like these at all. They divide different, they act crazy. Girls, which one do you have? They come out of your ovaries once a month. The right one 1 month, the left one 1 month. The right one 1 month, the left until you're 45, 50 years old. What do they do to themselves? The eggs. If you want to be technical about the oocytes. Again, they have 23 chromosomes. They can't live on their own. They're not body cells. They're different. We're not going to study that this semester. Guys, I'm not going to leave you out. What's your weird 23 chromosomes? Sperm. And when those two go together, then we make a zygote with 46 chromosomes, and we start making these. So these don't fit in the same group. Forget about those until next semester in the last chapter of the year. We're talking about those. All right, here we go. I remember this, and this is live. Because the book doesn't want to draw 100 different cells. So they draw one cell with every possible thing that you could have in it. And there's no such thing as a cell like that that has every organelle. But again, you'd have to draw 50, 60 different cells to show them real. So they draw one and just put everyone in there and give the definition of each one. I remember when I first started getting interested in science, I was in high school and the coach taught the class, the football coach. For half the class, he put up football plays. And I was like, hey, I thought this was biology. And then he would draw a cell on the board. He would always make it a circle. He'd put a nucleus and say all these names and tell us names. Here you go, from coach. What's he do? Powerhouse. I remember that word from 8th grade. Well, tell me more than that. That's not going to do it, but we're going to talk a little bit about the makeup and how it makes ATP, but I'm not going to go into great detail on that. So, will you have to know all of these? I'm going to let you make the test, because I'm tired of you saying, oh, you didn't talk about that. So what I'm going to do is, not today, but on Monday, I'm going to start right here, and we're going to go around the loop, and you're going to tell me something, and that's what I'm going to remember, and that's going to be worded on the test. So if you tell me mitochondria powerhouse, I'm going to put powerhouse in the damn test. If you put centriole, you put cell division, that's what I'm going to write on the test. So what you have to learn from each of these is a one-statement definition of them, and that's what I'm going to put on the lecture test. On the lab, you've got to label them on a model, right? Okay. Again, are all cells round?
No.
None of them. What's it? You better know this from your lab. What tissue did I just draw?
Simple, cuboidal.
What kind of cuboidal?
Simple.
Simple, cuboidal.
Beefy.
Another word, you're going to miss it if you don't write them all. Oh, we're all going down there. We're all going circling the drain. We're circling the drain to the unemployment. I'll hire y'all. We'll work on the beach. I'll go to Banana Boat this summer. I got a snorkel boat. We'll take people on trips. You guys give me my deckhand. I'll hire you. What kind of tissue is that? Simple, cuboidal, epithelium.
That's what I said.
I can't hear you. What's that? Simple columnar epithelium. None of those are circles. So most of the cells in your body are not circles. Sperm cells aren't circles. The only circle I can think of actually right now would be an egg. And an egg is not just one cell. So most of them are not circles. They try to make kind of a weird shape of this. All right, again, no cells have all this. All right, here's the lab again. We're going to find out where you stand. What tissue did you look at in the lab last week that had cilia on it? Shot down in flames.
There's a hyaline.
We are going to fail that lab test together. Because I have a lab and none of you people are telling me the answer, and some of y'all are in my lab. You looked at a slide that had cilia on it from the trachea. Oh, I gotta say some Spanish words. Dios mío. All that makes sense?
Dios mío.
Dios mío. Pseudostratified, ciliate, columnar, epithelium, from the trachea. I came to some of y'all's table and I told you what it was, you took a picture of it. Aye. What tissue from last week had mitochondria on it? I mean, not mitochondria, had microvilla on it from the intestine. On that lab midterm, you better sneak me in there with you. Those TAs don't know me, I'll take the test with you. You tell them that I'm your babe or whatever. That's not gonna fly. Simple columnar epithelium in the intestine has microvilla on it. You should have seen them on the microscope. I must be doing a lousy job in that lab too. I hate that lab. I hate that thing. I don't understand that computer, and when I take that test, I get stressed over the time limit thing. I hate it. But we gotta make the best of it, so just hang in there. All right, this is lecture, so hopefully a lot of stuff we talk about will help you on the lab midterm. Again, we're not gonna do this today. We're just talking about different organelles. All right, if you had to pick one, and you could only pick one, what would you say the most important label on that picture is? What? I would say nucleus. I wouldn't call that wrong, because without the nucleus, you can't coordinate anything. You can't make new proteins. You would be dead within 24 hours to 48 hours. But there's one that's more important that you'd be dead in 5 seconds. Well, you'd be dead in a couple of minutes. What's something more important than the nucleus? I put the nucleus second. Keep looking. What? Mitochondria, you would have energy. So you become paralyzed, you would get tired, you couldn't do any bicep curls, but you wouldn't die right away.
The ribosomes, no?
Days. What? It allows things to come in and out. So if your cell membrane goes haywire and says, you know what? I don't care anymore. Let's let everything in and everything out. You're done. Your cell would either swell up and blow up the minute it happened, or it would shrink down and crenate to nothing. You would let all the viruses and bacteria all in there. You're done within 5 minutes. So the cell membrane to me is the most important organelle, because it controls what enters and what leaves the cell. And they're going to talk about the cell membrane for the next 4 or 5 pages of the chapter. So it must be pretty important. All right, now we got to do hospital talk, because the problem with this is there's a lot of different words that mean the same damn thing. Again, in that lab, if you're writing on the answer and the answer is anterior and you put ventral, you better be complaining to the TA. I fixed 3 people's tests today because they put, one person had put towards you and they put T capital or something, and I fixed it. You have to be careful, because anterior and ventral are the same word. Sister chromatids and chromosomes are the same thing. Somebody brought that up and they said, hey, I put sister chromatid, and the answer is chromosome. That's the same thing. So if you don't go to your TA and say, what's the deal, you're going to get bad grades. We need to talk about these words. Here we go. Let's put our cuboidal cell back up here with no nucleus. Now if I go, here we go, from lab, you have to know the locations as well, correct? Where would you find simple cuboidal epithelium in your body? Lord help us on that lab. Where? I can't hear you. No, it's columnar. You're close. That's simple columnar. Simple cuboidal would be in the
Kidneys.
not in my back. God dang it!
Kidneys.
The kidney. It's in your back, so that's okay. All right. So it's going to ask for locations of all those tissues. Pseudostratified ciliate, trachea. Stratified squamous, skin. Simple columnar, intestine. Simple cuboidal, kidney. Right? All right, here we go. We're going to get to that in the lecture before this test comes. Here's a simple cuboidal epithelial cell from your kidney. It's in the middle of the kidney, so guess what? Outside the kidney, there's liquid. Inside the box, there's liquid. And controlling that liquid would be that membrane, correct? Everything out here is in the words. All this liquid on the outside is called extracellular fluid. So out here is the extracellular fluid. If I go into her body with a needle and I pull out extracellular fluid and put it in the glass, what do you think most of it is?
Water.
Water. I can drink it, and if she's really hydrated, I couldn't tell that it wasn't anything but water. It might have a little salt taste to it if she's dehydrated a little bit. But extracellular fluid is mostly water, 99%. It's got some ions mixed in it, you know what you're talking about. There's some protein. Never heard that word in my life at the hospital. They use this word. Tissue fluid is the same thing. Tissue fluid is fluid outside the cell. I also hear it sometime in the ER, interstitial fluid. It's the same thing. So extracellular fluid, tissue fluid, interstitial fluid, interchange them any way you want. It means the fluid on the outside of the cell. All right, let's go to the inside. If this is extracellular, what's the inside? Intra. Intracellular fluid is the fluid on the inside of the cell. What if I take a needle and go inside your cell and pull it out? What does it mostly need? Water. So this and this are very similar, except that's on the outside, this on the inside. Can extracellular become intracellular? Heck yes. Can intracellular become extracellular? Heck yes. Who controls that? The membrane does. You don't. You can't say do that. The membrane does. So if you're sweating or you're cold or you've got your kidneys aren't working right, you're overhydrated, you're dehydrated, this will all compensate each other. You don't believe me? Try not to urinate and see what happens. You're gonna eventually do it. Or drink 2-3 gallons of water. Your urine's gonna be clear. Because you can't let this go crazy. It's gonna fix itself by homeostasis. There's no other words for this. Cytoplasm is on the inside, correct? That was on the picture over here. Does it say cytoplasm? Where's the word? Oh, it says cytosol. There we go. Let's do that one. That's a better word, actually. I'm glad you pointed that out, because that's a better word. If you're going to be technical about it, this is not right. Because guess what the cytoplasm is? The cytoplasm is this. It's all the liquid plus all the organelles. So it's not just liquid. It's the nucleus and the mitochondria and the rough ER. It's everything. So actually this is not a good word to use for the liquid on the inside. What is the cytosol? The cytoplasm without the organelles. So if you just pick the liquid, then you're talking about the cytosol. So I'm glad you saw that, because I kept saying cytoplasm and told you wrong. That's really not the right word to use. It's cytosol. So intracellular or cytosol is on the inside. And again, you can switch them, make them go crazy. I had a patient at the hospital. I'll never forget her because I went in the room. They always talk about the Astros. And I like to get to talk about the Astros. So I go to the patient's room more to spend time because they're waiting and talking about the Astros. And she was in kidney failure. And she was an older lady, and I remember grabbing her wrist to do a blood gas. And when I grabbed her, she looked a little swollen up. When I grabbed her wrist and pushed her skin, fluid came out like a sponge. And I knew that she was having trouble. She was near the end of her life. And this was all messed up. So you have to keep that right, and kidney failure is a big one that does it wrong. Girls, some of you, again, I don't know this because I'm not a girl, but one of my daughters has big problems on her menstrual cycle with bloating, and she feels like hell. She doesn't want to go out and do anything. She wants to sit around because her extracellular fluid goes crazy, and she feels bloated and she feels miserable, she says. The mother daughter's like, what's wrong? I feel fine. It doesn't affect you as much. But a lot of hormones, a lot of things, a lot of drugs, a lot of things you do in your life can make this go crazy. But the hospital, you fix it. So nurses, you're going to be dealing with this all the time. Trying to make extracellular intracellular and intracellular extracellular. You got the terms right, so now we're not going to say liquid on the outside or inside anymore. We're going to use these words. All right, here we go. That's what the cell membrane does. And that's the biggie. Is this kind of important? What does that mean? Yeah, it makes it a square. So the reason a cube cell is because of the cell membrane. The reason a column cell is a column is because of the cell membrane. It gives it structural support. It also makes for isolation. It also says, hey, you can't come in. Hey, virus out here, a bad guy. Well, I'm going to draw something ugly. There's something about it. You can't come in. So isolation. But the big thing it does is it regulates the exchange of the in and out. It allows certain things to come in and certain things not to. And we're going to see all that. Oh, yeah. You remember my spiral staircase? And my wife said no. I brought this picture, a big poster the company sent me of a big cell, and I thought it was the most beautiful thing. And I went down to Hobby Lobby and I got the frame put on there, and I brought that to the house and I slapped it on the wall, and my wife looked at that and said, "What in the hell is that?" And I took it down, walked away. Because I'm on Andy Long. Wouldn't that look cool in your living room on the wall? You know what she put instead? A picture of a lighthouse. I can look out the window and see the damn lighthouse. I want this. But we don't have it, so I took it to the garage. That to me is beautiful. I would make a copy of that and put it on my wall. Please help me. I'm gonna get a divorce. I want to live in my man cave with pictures of aneurysms and strokes and cell membranes all over the place and deer heads. This is a beautiful picture of a cell membrane. What's this right here where my hand is? What kind of fluid? Intracellular, cytosol. What's this out here? Extracellular, tissue fluid, interstitial fluid. Your coach liked you, didn't he? Because the membrane is not one line. Actually, that coach, when you drew that on the board, should have done this. It's a double. So the membrane, that little one-line membrane you're seeing in the microscope, actually has two sides. It's a bilayer. It has an inside layer and an outside layer. So it's really complicated, even though it doesn't look complicated in the microscope. But you can tell by looking at it that they're really, really small. All right, we're going to go this. There'll be 10 questions on the test about this picture. Anywhere from 8 to 10, so make sure you know all this stuff we're talking about. Let's do one at a time. The first one is those things. The phosphate head and the two tails. That is the phospholipid bilayer. It's called a bilayer because it's got two sides. It's a phospholipid because it has a phosphorus head. And where do you think those two tails are from last test? Just like a triglyceride. What are those two tails called? Fatty acids. So it's almost like a triglyceride, but a triglyceride has 3 fatty acid tails. This has 2. So it's if you took your finger and could rub it inside of a membrane right there, it would come out like log. It's a fat. It's a lipid. So the membrane has a lipid layer in the middle with 2 phosphate inside. Thus, phospholipid bilayer. Some of my friends who are always talking to me, go to the pool or something, or I always want to talk to A&P, and they just tell me to shut up. They're like, "No, talk about that, Robert. We don't care about that A&P stuff." And they're telling me, one guy was telling about his diet the other day. He says, "Hey man, I'm going to cut down on my lipids because all I eat is chicken and fish." I go, "Man, you're eating lots of phospholipids." He goes, "What?" I go, "The phospholipid bilayer of chicken and fish is a fat. If you eat any kind of animal matter, you get a lot of fat in the diet because their cell membranes are made of phospholipids." He was like, "Robert, so what are you talking about?" I just shut up. We start talking about something else. But it's not bad for you. That's what all your cells are full of fat. Everyone in your whole body is full of these fatty acid tails that make up the whole thing. All right, what else about the phospholipid bilayer? It's got a phosphate head on one end and a phosphate head on the other end. It's turned a certain way. What's this phosphate head touching? Cytosol. What is cytosol mostly? Water. That head is hydrophilic. It loves water. It says right there, hydrophilic head. What does hydrophilic mean? It has an affinity to water. It wants to go toward it. It's drawn to it. It loves it. I'm a hydrophilic person. I want to be on the boat all day. My mom doesn't hate it. What is this phosphate head touching? Water from the extracellular fluid, so it is also hydrophilic. So the two heads are hydrophilic. These fats, they can't stand water. They're repelled by it. They turn away from it. They move to the inside. They are hydrophobic, like my mom. Not because they think about it, it's because chemically they can't deal with it. It'd be like putting fat in a glass of water. It would go to the top, so you will never see these tails sticking out into the water. And again, if you ran your finger in there, it would be like water. It's a fact. All right, what else about it? They're not connected. That means when you do this to your tissue, those little phosphate heads microscopically move around. This one can go over there, this one can move down. They're not stuck together. It'd be like take a swimming pool and fill it with tennis balls. So you can't put another one in there where they're all look even on the top, right? You can't fit one more in there, but they're still not solid. If I jump in the middle of that crap and do a dive into it, they're gonna move out of the way. So these things are not connected, they're all floating around kind of in a mosaic. It's kind of weird to see that. Okay? Can you pass through that thing if I want in the membrane? Because that'd be if here's the membrane, most of that is a phospholipid. So if I want in, the easiest way to get in would be to go directly through the phospholipid. Same way without, you can go directly through this layer. Can you do that? Yeah. But what do you have to be? You have to love lipids. You have to go through a solid lipid layer. So you have to be lipid soluble. Have you ever heard of the vitamins A, D, E, and K? They're all lipid soluble. And the doctor will tell you if you're going to take vitamin E or vitamin A, you need to drink it with milk, or you need to take it with milk, you need to take it with a fat, because it's lipid soluble. If you're not going to go through there if you're not lipid soluble. You've got to pass through that lipid bilayer. You also have to be pretty small. You got to be small to fit through a hole or through those phosphate heads, and you got to dissolve into the lipid, go out the other side. Tell me some things that are lipid soluble. All the drugs that you do, all the drugs at the hospital that are fast acting, that work quick. Aspirin. You got a headache, right? You want to take something that's not lipid soluble, that has to find a channel to go through, has to go through your whole digestive tract, your headaches for 3 hours and finally goes away. And aspirin works pretty quick. The drug in the aspirin goes directly through the cell membrane into your bloodstream. It starts working that way. That one. Ooh, the Michael Jackson one. What? What's that stuff? White. It's white. It looks like it scares me. It's milk. It looks like milk. Propofol. You know what that is? Propofol. That's what Michael Jackson did that night, and he didn't wake up because it shut his diaphragm down. He was taken out to go to sleep. What a crazy man. You know what they use that at the hospital for? For somebody that's completely freaking out and turn him into a zombie. We had a guy come in to Valley Baptist one time that had been in a car wreck. He was a big dude. And his ribs had been broken. That dude was flipping out, grabbing, screaming, grabbing the nurses, throwing. And of course, I looked kind of a big guy, right? The other respiratory therapist was this little 90-pound girl. I was trying to look small. They don't call me. And they go, come help us, respiratory. And this guy was trying to hit me and get me. And finally, there was 4 or 5 people holding him. And then the doctor says he needs to be intubated. His blood O2 is low. And they looked at me. But you want me to stick? I didn't say this, but I'm like, you want me to stick a tube on that guy's throat while he's going ballistic? And they go, yeah. They were all holding him down. And he's like, he's not going to let me put a tube down his throat if he's sitting there calm. The minute the tube goes in the back of your throat, you're going to hit me in the face. So I was petrified, and the doctor said, get me the propofol. Here they come. 5 people held the guy's arm down. They stuck a needle. And I swear to you, I saw that drip. And that bag went 1 drip, 2 drips, 3 drips, and that guy went. Magic. I went up there and put the tube like that. But you know what's weird? The guy was looking at me. So he couldn't move, and he was like this, and he was looking right at me. That would scare the hell. If you do that to me, I'm gonna haunt you. Don't you do that to me? Because he knew I was there, and he knew what I think he knew what I was about to do. He told me he didn't remember when I talked to him 5 days later. But I stuck a big tube down his throat, and he said he didn't remember that, but he was staring. Why do you want to work in the hospital? Yeah, crazy. What about propofol? What does it do? It's lipid soluble. As soon as that stuff went into his bloodstream, into his vein, it went straight to his brain and turned him off like a light. So things that are going to have to work really quick are lipid soluble. The only ones I can think about that aren't drugs are vitamin A, D, E, and K. You ready? Alcohol. Let's say that we're going to all turn 20. Y'all are not 21 probably, so y'all are all going to turn 21 the same day. We're going to have a big party at Louis, and it's on me. It's on me, I'm rich. Yeah. And we go to Louis, and we're all 21, and you go, okay, tequila, here we go. Cuervo, ¿es it? I don't know.
Don Julio.
Arriba, abajo, acentro, adentro. There's one. I still feel okay. You 90-pound people are probably one. Otra, una más. I'm already feeling it, right? It don't take any time. Because alcohol is inside. She drinks those 2 tequila shots. She goes, I gotta go. Thanks for the party, Robertson. Goes down to her car. Gets in her car. There's a South Padre and the police. It's only been 5 minutes since she drank them. 5 minutes. They're going to say, hey, you've been drinking? Oh, hey, sir, I only had them 5 minutes ago. There's no way I'm drunk. Robertson told me in the AP class that alcohol's insoluble. It's in your bloodstream the minute that you drink it. You are legally drunk. Well, maybe not with 2. Maybe, though. You're small. You're not. How do you know? Oh, okay, you're stop drinking all the time. But you get the gist. Alcohol, as soon as it's in your mouth, it can go through the capillaries in your lips and go into your bloodstream and then you drink. So the dentist office. Here we go. What's that stuff? I never had my tooth pulled. Ether. Ether. Is it ether? Where's that crap they give you? Lipid soluble. Lipid soluble. Fast. All right. So again, we can go through lipid bilayer. We have to be lipid soluble. All right. That's the phospholipid bilayer. We know all about it. Let's do all the things in blue. Here we go. All the things in blue are proteins. So number 2 would be proteins. Now, you're going to tell me by looking at the picture. You ready? It's just anatomical. There's not anything chemical about it. It's just anatomical. What's the difference between an integral protein and a peripheral protein? Look at the picture and tell me the difference in those 2. You want me to show you 2? Here's an integral one. Here's a peripheral one. There's a peripheral one. What's the difference in the 2? They're both proteins. They're both chains of amino acids. You can't see that? One what? I didn't hear you. Boom! The peripheral one is only on the inside of the cell membrane. The integral one goes through the cell membrane to the outside or to the inside. It goes all the way through. Now, I'm sure some of them don't go all the way through, but for our definition, we're going to say that the peripheral ones are only on the inside, which that one is, 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 or they are integral, they go all the way through. That one is, that one is, that one, and that one. Right? Now, we don't care about the peripheral ones except for this. They make the inside of the cell negative. And that's going to be important later, because all those blue proteins that can't get outside and are stuck on the inside are all negatively charged. And they make the cytosol negative, and that's going to be a big deal when you have an action potential. But for right now, we don't care about that. We just care that they're on the inside. We care about, for this test, the integral ones. Okay, all the integrals that we care about, they make a channel. They make a tube. They make a hole. They make a way to get through from the outside to the in, or the in to the out. The outside to the in, or the in to the out. They're a channel way. They're a straw, a tube, a tunnel, however you want to define it. Because guess what? Things that aren't lipid soluble have to go in that way. So like glucose is not lipid soluble. You can't take glucose directly through your cell membrane. Do you think you need glucose inside the cell? Hell yeah, I need glucose inside my cell. I need to have energy. So it has to come through a channel. All right? There's a channel, there's a channel. What's the difference? One's gated. This one's open to the public. It's just a hole. It's microscopic. So what do you have to be to get through this channel? Tiny. It's tiny, like sodium. Anything bigger than a sodium molecule is not going to go through. C6H12O6 ain't going in. No sugars, no polysaccharides, no fats, no proteins are all way too big. So this is only going to take small little things. And what else do you have to be? You're going from water to water to water, through water, all water. What do you have to be? Everything, if you're coming from the outside in, water, water, water. You're coming inside out, water, water, water. You already have to be hydrophilic. So you've got to be hydrophilic and tiny. And then you can go through a channel. Guess what a virus is? Hydrophilic and tiny. Oh, sorry. Or if I could find a way to kill everyone in the world. But viruses are wimpy. They can't live outside the body. They don't have their own DNA. So if your immune system is you ain't got to worry about it. If I get the flu, I don't care. If I get a cold, I don't care. If I get COVID, I don't care. I don't want to give it to anybody, but I'm not going to die from that. My immune system is strong. I've never seen anybody that is sick for a long time with a cold and dies from a cold, right? So you don't have to worry about that. You feel like hell. But right now, we've not found a way to block those from getting in there because they're super small and they're hydrophilic. Okay. Oh, my Spanish, you ready? This is good. I'm going to do it good. Right? Influx of whatever you say. Necesito una llave. Necesito una llave, abra la puerta.
Need a key.
Ooh, you're laughing or you're sounding good? Necesito una llave, abra la puerta. That's not a door. That's not a door though. No, I got it. Wait. Necesito una llave, abra la portón. Portón is gate, like a gate. I'm fluent. You don't have a key, you ain't getting in. Right now, there's no key in the keyhole. That gate is closed. I don't care how hydrophilic you are and how small you are, you ain't getting through that doorway unless you got the key. So those are important gates that allow only certain things in. They're specialized gates for sodium, for glucose, all those things that we need all the time. They got their own doorway with their own key, with their own way in. Doctors love these things because they can control them. You can make, guess what you can do? You can make fake keys. You can make fake keys. Adderall is a fake key. It opens up channels that normally aren't open, so you get all intense, right? I don't like that. I've never taken none of that stuff. My friend gave me some of that crap, I was up for 2 days. Stop taking that stuff. My daughter told me that everybody at A&M was taking that to study, and they could get it from the pharmacy. I shouldn't tell you this, you're gonna go get it. They could go to the clinic and say, oh, I can't study, I can't concentrate. Here's Adderall. What the hell is that?
You can buy it off of Amazon now.
What?
Yeah, I saw it.
So I'm telling these people that stuff. You know what happens to you if you take that all the time? I had a friend that took it legally every day. He had ADD. He got it. If he didn't have it, he was a zombie. If he didn't take that stuff, he fell asleep while he was standing up. I need my Adderall. Dude, I don't want to live like that. I'm not preaching to you. I'm going to shut up. There's some fake keys. You can make keys, drugs that work. Don't forget. We're only talking about natural things. Okay, here we go. Still have to be small. Still have to be hydrophilic. Still have to have the key. That's the blue thing. Let's go to the yellow thing. Number 3 is everything yellow thing. Now, here's the bad thing. Again, my friends at the pool at the condo. Oh, Robertson, cholesterol's bad. Cholesterol's bad. Cholesterol ain't bad. I think cholesterol's good. If you're telling me bad, why does it make up all of your cell membranes? Everyone in this room, your whole cell membrane has thousands of molecules and cholesterol in them to give them their shape. So without cholesterol, you would have no form. This is the way your cuboidal cell would live without cholesterol. You want your cuboidal cells to look like that? Mine look like this because of cholesterol. It doesn't give it its shape, it gives it its, what word? I'm trying to get all up its head. Firmness, rigidity. It makes the membrane rigid because you don't have a cell wall like a plant. So if you want really firm cells where you look young, you need lots of cholesterol in them to keep them rigid and firm. And they give all the reason those cells are shaped how they are in your microscope is because of cholesterol. So if you tell me that you don't get any cholesterol in your diet and you eat any kind of animal, you're lying. Venados, conejos, mapaches, tecuaches, cows, dogs, horses, all animal matter has cholesterol in their cells because they don't have cell walls. Well, what they say, and it's controversial now, that too much cholesterol will form in your arteries and make plaque. But now they're finding out that's more genetics than it is diet. Because they take people that work out a lot and do a lot of exercise, and they put them with people that don't, and they get that plaque. So they don't think it's what you eat, it's how you act. And then also, I know some athletic people that had heart attacks, and when they did the angioplasty, or they did the surgery, their arteries were full of plaque, and they had a perfect diet. So I think most of it, to me, most of it I see is genetics. You know who you need to blame? Mom and Dad. Mama, you can eat plaque in my arteries. Daddy. I'm not saying eat whatever you want, but there's studies saying that it's not as much as they thought about fats and cholesterol building up in your artery because of diet. You need it in your diet to take the cholesterol from the animals and put it in your cell membranes to make this plaque. There's lots of controversy about that. Okay, we see what cholesterol does? There's also HDL and LDL, the high density and all that stuff, you can get into a whole can of worms. The purple thing. Please tell me that's purple. Guys, don't even answer because half of you are down colorblind. Guys, 25% of all the guys in this room are color. That's why I always wear blue. I don't know what color it is. That's purple, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
We're good. I guess I'm not colorblind. To purple. I think red, green one's the most common as guys. But whatever, that's another story. If you want to find out, there's some tests in the lab. There's some books in the lab you can look in there. If you don't see a certain thing in there, you're colorblind. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3. Those are six-sided things. What are those? We just did it last chapter. Let's look over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Six carbons. A six-sided, six-carbon. What has 6 carbons? Last chapter. Well, no more than a lot more than 6. What's the one that had 6?
Sugar. Glucose.
Sugar! Thank you. Those are sugars. That's a polysaccharide. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. That's a polysaccharide. It's not the size of a potato. It's not the size of a flan. It's not the size of a tortilla, but it's a polysaccharide. It's not when you eat. You're not stuck there. Now that one's stuck on a phosphate head. This one is stuck on a protein, so it makes these crazy different names. I don't care about that. In med school you will, but for now, for this class, we're just gonna say these are carbohydrates. Okay? Why do you need carbohydrates on the outside of your cell? For recognition. So here's my blood cell. That's one of my red blood cells. I'm A positive. I know that because I'm a blood type. That means I have little carbohydrate chains on my blood cells that are A. Who in here is B? Anybody B type blood? Sure as hell somebody here is B blood. Somebody else is A? You mean come on. I need a blood transfusion, I can take her blood. She needs blood from me, I got you. Say okay. You're gonna help me, right? No, she. We both have the same blood type, so we can give each other blood. Okay, let's just say that you're B. Get away from me. If she gives me her blood type, her carbohydrates don't match. So when her blood goes into my body, my white cells are gonna say, I don't know you, and they're gonna kill it all and clump it and make it worse for me. If he's gonna give me a kidney because he's nice and I need a kidney transplant, if his carbohydrates are way far different than mine, it ain't gonna work. But now, most of the time you don't need anybody else's blood, and you don't need anybody else's organs. So what does it do for you right now? Here's my red blood cell. It's flowing around. It's my thyroid. It's very sensitive. And my thyroid gland is there, and here comes my red blood cell, and all the white blood cells there waiting to go. Come. It doesn't work out because it's me. So this lets your cells recognize you. Why don't get Nancy? Is it time to go? One more. You see the carbohydrates? You're good. Recognize. Signaling. What's it do? The name's in the name. What's it do? Can't hear nobody. What? Form, shape. The box is a box because of the skeleton. The box is firm box because of the cholesterol. So that's like your skeleton of your body. It gives the cell the shape. That's all 5 of them. Any questions about cell membrane? No. Done. TL. Yes.